At the last election, one of our platforms to create jobs was the growth of a new export industry for LNG. We have delivered on that, and now it is about to deliver for Queenslanders. The new export gas industry in Queensland means jobs, it means investment, it means prosperity, but importantly it also means royalties and revenue into the state budget. Last year I outlined a plan to take 50% of those new royalties and put them into an education trust fund. I proposed two options for investing those funds into the education of our children. Firstly, one option was to give children the birth... Are we right, folks? I proposed two options to invest those funds into our children. The first was the proposal to invest in accounts for every child born from the 1st of July this year, which they would become eligible for when they turned 18 in 2030. The other alternative was to create a general fund that could start making disbursements into our education system potentially from this year or next. We've been out talking to Queenslanders about that proposal now for the past 5 months. We've received a very enthusiastic response. We've seen mums and dads come along to forums in their local schools and regions right across Queensland. We've seen almost 3,000 people come onto the website and make submissions. What Queenslanders have told us is they love the idea of an education trust, but what they wanted to see was the benefits of this resources coming to our children and to the education system much earlier than 2030. So we've done a lot of work on this proposal, and I'm very pleased to today confirm the details of Labor's Minds to Minds Education Trust Fund. It's our proposal to take the wealth out of the ground from the minds of Queensland and put it into the minds of our children. We can only use these resources once, but if we invest it in our children, it will reap rewards for all of us for many generations to come. We've listened to Queenslanders, and I can now confirm the details of our Education Trust Fund. This fund will be funded by 50% of royalties from the new export gas industry. Those royalties will start to flow in 2015. The trust fund will have two components. Firstly, it will have a component that will deliver scholarships to Year 12 students. This will be called Tomorrow's Scholarship Program. Tomorrow's scholarships will be available to every Year 12 graduating in 2015. So the first year that the royalties start to flow, our children will get the benefits. So every child sitting in a grade 9 classroom today will be the first beneficiary in 2015. So we've brought forward the benefit by 15 years, and we'll provide it instead of at birth and let it grow. We'll provide a $4,000 scholarship to every Year 12 student in 2015 and every year beyond that. These scholarships will have to be spent on education and training. This is an incentive program to make young people more interested in getting qualifications after school. We know that it is those countries and those economies that invest in education that are the strongest economies. We want to see Queensland as the best educated, most highly skilled workforce in Australia, and that's what these scholarships will help us do. The second component of the trust fund will be called today's grants, and this will be a grant program to provide for improvements right across the education system. It will start off very modestly with a $10 million allocation this year, and then it will grow every year until it is dispersing more than $60 million a year. Within 15 years, that will be a self-funding part of the trust. That is, within 15 years, the amount of interest being earned on that part of the fund will pay for the disbursement of some $60 to $70 million worth of grants into the education system. A new Labor government will legislate to create the Education Trust Fund within our first 100 days after election. That will give it the force of law. It will also establish a board of educational experts that will help us make the investments in the right place. So this is a very important part of our agenda. Investing in education gives children their best chance to reach their potential, but investing in education gives our economy the best chance of being the strongest in the region. We know that investing in our children makes a difference to all of us. And what better way to use the resources that we are blessed with here in Queensland than to put it into the minds of our children. Our children are our most precious resource. If we want to grow a strong future, then we have to invest in them. With this fund, we will be doing something that no other state in Australia does. Our proposal for a Queensland Education Trust is unique in Australia. It will give our children a competitive edge. We can only use our resources once. Once the resources come out of the ground, they are gone. If we use those funds to invest in our children, then we're using today's economy to create the economy of the 21st century. We've got to look beyond the resources boom. We've got to use it now to create the economy that comes next. And the best place to put that is into our children. So we'll legislate to make this happen. There's nothing else like it in Australia. It'll put Queensland right at the front of the pack. Excuse me, I just asked the Education Minister to make a few comments.
As Education Minister, I'm proud to have been part of a government that's put improving educational opportunities and outcomes at the heart of what we've done as a government over the past decade. But one area where we do need to improve is in relation to post-school qualifications. About a decade ago, 41% of Queenslanders had a Certificate 3 vocational education and training qualification or above. We've improved that over the last decade to 55%, but we need to improve that again. And the Queensland Education Trust will be an incentive to young Queenslanders to think about post-school career and post-school qualifications. We need to improve those opportunities for Queenslanders outside of school. And the Queensland Education Trust presents the incentive for young people to think about the future, their own career and the pathway they want to take in life. So this is a very important proposal. It's a very important thing for our state. This is about taking a finite resource in the earth and putting it into the infinite capacity of Queenslanders, investing in the most significant resource in Queensland, which is our people. So this is a very important proposal, one that will build the platform for the 21st century. We can't even imagine now what some of the jobs we will need will be in the 21st century, but we do know we will need a highly skilled, highly qualified, highly educated Queensland. So this will be good for individual Queenslanders, it'll be good for their families, it'll be good for our economy, particularly to boost productivity, and it'll be good for our state.